Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good morning. Good afternoon and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in great spirits, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. Another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. Dagnabbit. Woo! We got some things to talk about, my Lord. Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lordy. We got some things to talk about. So get on in here. Strap up, strap in, whatever you want to call it, okay? Get your cup of Joe or your cup of whatever, as long as you're not operating some heavy machinery, okay? And we got to get into the conversation here. This is absolutely incredibly wild. Some things that happened today or yesterday that's spilling into today, and we got to talk about it. Real talk. There's a lot to get into, so we're going to get right into it. So before we do that, though, please hit that like button down below. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms, make sure you follow me, okay? I'm on everything. Facebook, all the way to Rumble, Twitch, Kick, Twitter, Instagram. I'm on all of them, okay? Make sure you do that, okay? Please and thank you. Don't forget to subscribe on here, right here on my main channel. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Go over to my third channel, brand new platform, podcast I call Pascal Raw. Got some new stuff coming, I promise. It's just been very crazy going on. There's a lot of craziness going on as of late, okay? With this, everything going on here on The Pascal Show. So please make sure you subscribe to all three. Hit that notification bell. Set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it is random. That'd be greatly appreciated. Okay? Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. Okay, guys. Oh, my Lord. Okay, guys. Yesterday was pretty insane. A lot of things happened yesterday that I don't think any of us were prepared for. I was on my way to a early screening of a movie. I was blessed enough to be invited to see this new movie called Him that's about to come out. I think it comes out today or it comes out tomorrow. Either way, I got this private advanced screening opportunity to see that movie, which was really, really cool. But as I was on my way to the actual movie theater to see this movie, I find out crazy stuff. And you guys saw my short, which I got to be honest, make sure you are literally hitting that notification bell and make sure you're watching my shorts. The reason why I say that is because there's a lot of things I'm giving you guys. Like I've started something new over the past 6 weeks now, and it seems to be working, which I'm really, really, I'm happy about. But there's a lot of breaking news that happens when I'm out. When I'm out, I'm doing something. I'm at an event. I'm making an appearance somewhere, so on and so forth. And so in this particular moment, there was this situation where I'm like, okay, I gotta stop what I'm doing, and I just got to do this quick little 1 minute long clip just to let you guys know what's going on. So that's why I say to really make sure you have that notification bell set to all, so you know whenever I go live or whenever I upload. Because real talk, a lot of times I'm giving you guys breaking news right then and there. Literally, I'm pulling out my phone and I'm just shooting from the hip. Here's the information that I have. Okay, so there will be more and more shorts coming onto this channel. So get used to it, because it's coming. And a lot of it has to do with whoa, this is breaking, and I can't run back into my purple office. You know what I mean? I can't get out there and do that. So I just give you guys the raw, uncut, right in your face information. All right. So this is what I gave you guys yesterday evening, as I'm about to go into the movie theater to see this movie. Okay. Which there will be a review about that later on today. But nonetheless, pretty insane stuff that we got this going on. ABC takes Jimmy Kimmel off the freaking air. Takes him off the freaking air because of comments that he made about Charlie Kirk or things about Charlie Kirk. Let me just say that, okay? Which is very interesting. In fact, it was more about the assailant, Tyler Robinson, and how Trump had been reacting to the thing at that particular moment, at that particular time. And it's just insane, okay? And so, without further ado, we are going to look at the actual video itself in question, okay? Because a lot of people, I already know. Let me just say this. I already know how y'all feel. Well, I already know how some people feel some type of way, some other people feel some type of way, okay? Let's be real. I get it. Some people are pissed off, angry as F. I get that. And then I get on the other side, some other people be like, damn right, that's what he gets, right? That's what he gets, man. Now that's called karma, man. That's called karma. If I ain't never seen karma before, that would be karma. So I've seen plenty of comments. I mean, as soon as I put out that video, the comments were on fire. And I'm going to be real. I appreciate everybody putting in their 2 cents about this situation. But this is very concerning to me. This is extremely concerning to me. And there's so much more to this story. And we're about to dive into it. So get ready, because it's crazy. And here's the thing. Y'all can be on either side of the fence. You could be happy that he lost his show, or you could be mad that he lost his show. Nonetheless, at the end of the day, this is not good. This is a matter of First Amendment rights. Now, I know this goes under, I know some people are going to be like, well, technically, pushing up their imaginary glasses up off the bridge of their nose. Well, actually, because he works underneath a company, so he can get into trouble and he can get canceled for those things, right? So on the contrary, freedom of speech does not work in this situation. He works underneath a conglomerate, underneath a company, and they can terminate him for whatever reason at all, for any reason that he wants. Well, here's the thing. He said much worse things on his show. There are plenty of other people that have said much worse things on platforms that are underneath the Sinclair Nexstar umbrella. Let's just say that. Much worse things. And they still got their jobs. They're still doing that thing. So again, I may not be the biggest fan of Jimmy Kimmel. Let me just be real, okay? I don't go, ooh, got to go see Jimmy Kimmel. Don't want to miss a moment of the last syllable that comes out of his mouth. I'm not that person, okay? I'm not. Okay, I don't go to bed with Jimmy Kimmel. You see what I'm saying? Nor do I look him up to see if there's anything going on. I truly feel like this platform is a dinosaur now. Okay, this is old legacy media. And legacy media, as we already know, has been dying. Sorry, but it has. We've been known that. And they're trying really hard to bridge the gap. But this does not help bridge the gap. You understand that, right? This makes people go to the internet even more. Don't worry, we're going to get into some info. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be a very interesting show. All right. This is going to be a very interesting show. Like I said, just strap up, get your coffee. I need you alert and I need you awake for this situation. Also, I need to tell y'all, wake up! Wake up! Because if this is happening to him, this can happen to every other freaking show that you love on TV. If they say anything that has anything to do with maybe going against the administration, or they put in their own color commentary about What's going on in the world? They could get cut. Snip, snip. Okay? Snip, snip. And I'm not talking about a vasectomy, but it's going to feel like one. I'm being real. Get ready. Just because I'm not the biggest Jimmy Kimmel fan, man, I used to love late night talk shows, but then I realized it's all fake. It's all scripted. It's all BS. And it's the same stuff over and over and over again. They don't try to do anything new, but that's just my personal 2 cents. I used to have a late night talk show. Okay. I used to do this thing. Real talk. I used to do this thing. Standing right up there in the suit. Okay. We got a great night for you guys. Such and such is in the house and a special performance by such and such. We'll be right back. I did that whole thing. So I've been here, done that. But then I realized, wow, this is boring. Sorry. This is not enjoyable to a certain extent. But it was also because there were certain confines and certain hoops you have to jump through. Literally. I had a show. It was on ABC. And again, ABC 30 to be exact. And to be real, I would have to jump through a lot of hoops. I had to do certain things at a specific time. I couldn't do this. I couldn't do that. There was, like I said, there were a lot of rules that I had to abide by. So I really couldn't have opinions 110%. I mean, and we're talking local. You know what I mean? We're talking local type ish. This is national. All right. So this is a completely different ball game. And of course, he's a comedian. Just like Jimmy Fallon's a comedian, just like Stephen Colbert is a comedian. That's how they cut their teeth. Okay. And now you got a guy who is just doing his job, throwing in his 2 cents, which, by the way, we all know he notoriously does not like Trump. That has been the thing. If you don't know that through line, then you've been living under a rock. You know for a fact he is not a fan of Trump. He has been very vocal about this. Okay? Very vocal about this. And then one day he makes a comment, his own personal opinion about what just happened with this Charlie Kirk tragedy, which of course is a tragedy, okay? With 110% a tragedy. Is this a means to be canceled or fired from your job? Take a listen.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. Demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish.
That's part of it. Okay? Hold on.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them. And
right there. Right there. That's the part, other than them poking fun at Trump, being like, you know, they're like, how you doing with this whole Charlie Kirk thing? He's like, I'm doing, yeah, everything. But, you know, if you look at all the stuff that we're doing over here, like, he just moved on, right? I mean, the joke wrote itself, right? He said what he said, joke wrote itself. Jimmy Kimmel calls that out. The other part that I think everybody's upset about is right here.
He hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between.
Now, here's the thing. There is a side of the world that's saying and feels exactly what he's saying. It's a comment. He's saying what he said. Now, whether he's off base or if he's on base, that's his opinion. We've heard so many other people say much worse. Much worse. And yet, homeboy has this whole show canceled indefinitely because of this 1 minute clip. Just so you know, he stated his opinion. He said something that he felt in his heart to say. That's his First Amendment right. He can say what he wants. People are saying much worse than that online and on their platforms. Much worse. And yet he lost his gig. He lost his gig. He lost his gig. I don't know. Because apparently he needs, and I want to point this out. For me, this is bigger than Jimmy Kimmel. This is bigger than Jimmy Kimmel. Let me just say that one more time, okay? This is bigger than Jimmy Kimmel. And if you don't see that, then I don't know what to tell you. Because this could be the potential of everything being controlled. Everything by the government. I don't know. Are we in North Korea right now? We could literally be in the same situation where nothing on TV is nothing but BS propaganda that is okayed by the government. I'm sorry, but I'm being honest here, and I'm being real, because I'm all for freedom of speech, 110%. We talked about this years ago. Some of these guys were supposed to be on the chopping block years ago for wearing blackface or saying the N-word and all that stuff, but they seemed to get through it with flying colors. They just went out and said, my apologies for saying what I said or for wearing the blackface at the time. It was comedy, blah, blah, blah. And they were able to move on. Remember the whole Sarah Silverman situation? Even Jimmy Kimmel as well. We all talked about it. Okay? We all talked about it. And yet they were able to fly right under the radar and do their jobs. See, he says one thing that's his opinion, and it's a wrap. He didn't even say anything that disparaging, in my personal opinion. He didn't. He put in his 2 cents. He put in what he thought, what he felt in that comment. Okay? Whether you think he's lying or telling the truth, it's his right to speak, is it not? Here's the other thing, too. Isn't that what Charlie Kirk lost his life for? Isn't that what they're at least erecting statues and doing all these things for? The fact that he was speaking on a microphone because of freedom of speech? He loses his life? I'm just saying. He was on a microphone saying what he felt. His opinions. Fact-based or not fact-based, he still was speaking those things as his own opinions. And that man, unfortunately, lost his life. Now you got a situation now right here where you have the likes of Jimmy Kimmel going up, throwing out his 2 cents and some jokes. Should he be on the chopping block solely because he spoke his mind? Same thing with Stephen Colbert. I said it before too with Stephen Colbert. Does it mean that this guy has to lose his job, lose the whole series, the whole show, be canceled solely because he went up and said his piece, said his opinion? Here's the thing about the world we live in. We have the right to say what we want to say. At least I thought we did. And here's the other thing, too. We also have the choice. Here, get this. We also have the choice to not listen. We also have the choice to not watch that show anymore, to change the channel, to listen to a different podcast, to follow another influencer. Do we not? And now, because he said this one thing, show's gone. Also, here, really quick, somebody just asked something, so I want to do this. Here it is. You just said, Pascal, it was the producer script. Did they also get fired? Yes. The whole show is canceled. Jimmy Kimmel Live is canceled. So yes, those producers aren't producing Jimmy Kimmel Live anymore. And that's probably most likely the only show that they're producing. They don't have time for anything else. Do you realize that a late night talk show takes up it is a 24/7 job, y'all. It is a 24/7 job. You're waking up early in the morning, you're scouring the internet trying to find any news that's going on. Then you're going into writer's room, like a writer's room. You're having a writer's session. You're sitting there. You're going through the opening monologue. You're trying to find jokes. You're trying to get the, get guests on and trying to come up with the games and all that you're going to do for the show. And you're doing that 5 shows a week. 4 days out of the week, 5 shows a week. So you're doing 2 on Thursday, so you have Friday off so you can breathe a little bit. And then Monday, you're back to it all over again. At least that's what the late night talk show, the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon does. And I guarantee you they do the same doggone thing. Because it is a 24/7 job. You walk in early in the morning and you're cranking out work. At least the writers and the producers are. And they're coming up with everything. And then the host of the show, the star, right? The likes of Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon or Seth Meyers, which, by the way, those 2 shows are now on the chopping block now. Now they're getting looked at as well because Trump posted something on social media basically saying, thank God this guy is gone. How about Seth Meyers and Jimmy Fallon? So the star shows up to the writer's room. And he'll sit there and he reads through the script and he finds through that script, at least for the opening monologue, he'll look through the jokes, which ones he thinks are funny and which ones he doesn't think are funny. And he goes, yeah, that one can go. The one about the baby lion can get out of here. I don't understand this joke, so that can get going. This one works, but can we reshape that one a little bit? Yeah, that one's good. Okay, and these other 5 ones are dope. That's exactly what you do. Okay? That's what they do, right? And then they do a rehearsal and then they do the show live. Like he's doing his show live, right? And knocking it out. Guillermo, etc. All of them, the band, everybody just lost their job. Everyone lost their job. Everyone. Hundreds of people lost their job. Everyone from the gaffer to the cameraman to the PAs to the writers to the producers to the host to the booker, all of them lost their job because what he said on the show, which I didn't think was that bad. I'm just saying. But I know the thing is that we live in a time where everyone has a bias and it's very quick. Everyone's very quick to side with one side if that person's on the opposing side. But here's the thing. Some people I saw, I was reading guys' comments in the chat before the show, right? And some of you guys were saying, like, what happened to Tucker Carlson? And everyone was rejoicing and all that about Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly. Yeah, I get it. People were rejoicing when those people got fired or got let go from their jobs, but they didn't get fired from their job because of saying something on the platforms that they were working on. They got fired for various other reasons. Tucker Carlson with Fox, they had I think it's time for us to go our separate ways, and they went their separate ways. Megyn Kelly, let's not forget, she was part of the whole Me Too movement, right? There was a lot that was going on with her and why she had to step down and step away, which I thought was trash as well. Okay. But nonetheless, they were let go because of various different situations. Okay. Jimmy Kimmel went on to his show and was reading a script that I know he okayed and saying a joke and putting in his 2 cents. Like I said, I don't have to agree with what he had to say, but I can sit here and say, hey, that's his right to say something. Now, I know we can get into the red tape and the technicalities of like, well, he works under this particular company, and this particular company was not cool with him saying that situation. Therefore, he got canceled or suspended indefinitely. I get all that as well. Okay, I do. Okay, and that I definitely can see there being some sort of problem with that without a shadow of a doubt. But I'm just talking on the rights level. Okay, on the First Amendment right level. He's allowed to say what he wants to say. It's freedom of press. It's freedom of speech and saying what he wants to say. It's not like he cursed. It's not like he showed CP on the show. It's not like he did any showing a full-on unaliving on camera or anything of that sort. He just said what he believed to be the truth and what he believes to be his own opinion. No one should be losing their job because of that. Period. Shoot. Just the other day, wasn't there somebody on Fox and Friends talking about unaliving the houseless? I'm going to pull that up. I don't have it here, but it just popped in my head. Okay? Same thing. Okay? That's crazy. And there's a lot of people, there's a lot of people that are actually out here losing their jobs as well. Now, as far as that goes, I still don't understand. Like the thing, okay. I think it's absolutely nuck and futz, okay? I think it's absolutely nuck and futz that people are going onto their platforms and being like, basically like ding dong, the witch is dead or whatever the hell it is, right? I think that's messed up. I think that's absolutely messed up. And I don't blame these companies for doing what they're doing. You went to your platform and you're saying these terrible things, worse than what Jimmy Kimmel said. Way worse than what Jimmy Kimmel said. Okay? Way worse. They're saying, thank God, right? They're celebrating. They're, woo, that kind of thing. That's wrong and messed up. That's a different statement than what Jimmy Kimmel was saying here. Way worse than what Jimmy Kimmel said. He didn't say anything like, "Woo, I'm happy he's gone." Hell to the no, he did not. So like I said, this situation is very, very messed up and very wrong, in my personal opinion. Okay? And it gives me worry, because could this be the future? Could this be the future of television? And then, what's going to be even more crazy is that you're going to see Jimmy Fallon tap dance. You heard it here first. Okay? You heard it here first. That Jimmy Fallon's going to start tap dancing. Watch. He's already done it. As soon as Stephen Colbert lost his job, as soon as Stephen Colbert got fired, which I thought was wrong too, Jimmy Fallon called up the host of the Fox News shows, like late night talk show. They do their own version of it too, for the most part. And I forgot his name. I think is it Gutfeld? Maybe I have the name right. But anyway, he brought him on the show to talk to him. Bring him on, because he's sitting there going like, I'm trying to do the best I can to bridge the gap because I don't want to lose the job. And I get it. There are other people that are, it's more than just Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel or Seth Meyers or Stephen Colbert. It's hundreds, if not, it's hundreds of people possibly losing their job. Real talk. It's beyond, it's more than just Jimmy Fallon. So of course he's sitting there going, damn, okay. Bring him on. Bring some more left, right-wing people. Come on. I'm with it. And we won't talk about any of this, right? We won't talk about any of this. We're gonna veer off to the side. We're not gonna talk about this. Haven't you noticed that? So I feel like it's gonna be the same thing. Jimmy Fallon will be fine. He won't be on the chopping block. But you could tell, it seems like the powers that be don't like jokes being poked upon them. Okay? You know what? That's the thing. We have the right to change the channel. We are not forced to watch, right? But see, this is the thing. I'm wondering, and here's the other thing. Here's the other part too, just so you know. So starting on Friday, or at least on Friday, they are going to be doing a full-on special on Charlie Kirk, airing during the time that Jimmy Kimmel's live show should be airing, just so you know. So they're going to be doing a big old thing, the life of Charlie Kirk, basically, the life and death of Charlie Kirk. And they're going to have that as a full hour segment or full hour show on ABC during the time that Jimmy Kimmel live show is supposed to be. Just so you know. Okay? But I also feel like, what does this mean? Does this mean that late night is going to go right wing? I'm just saying, think about this, y'all. Let's be real. Think about it. Because you got Stephen Colbert gone. So that's CBS. You got ABC now. Jimmy Kimmel's show gone. And we're going to talk about the things that he needs to do to get his stuff turned back on. But we're going to talk about that in a second, okay? But if he doesn't do as they wish, that show's gone. And if they take out Seth Meyers, if they take out Jimmy Fallon, what's going to happen? Are they just going to all be right-wing centric late night shows for the foreseeable future? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Very interesting. I will say though, I do think that there needs to be some balance in the late night talk show realm, right? All of them are pretty left-leaning shows. It'd be interesting to see a right-wing, right-leaning talk show host, right? It'd be interesting to see that. But this is not how you take over the slot, okay? And here's the other thing too, is like I said, they're just going to control everything that's being said on TV now? Like I said, this could be the start of something really, really bad. This could be the start of something very, 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 very bad. And a lot of these companies are scared about losing the bag. And this is the reason why this whole thing is going down. So real quick, just to look at this here real quick, this article. Again, doesn't matter if you like the show or not, if you're happy he's gone, if you're happy, if you're sad or mad that he's gone. What happened here is not right. And this could be a very, very bad, this could be a foreshadowing of something bad coming. It could very well be that. Doesn't matter if you're liberal or conservative. This should concern each and every single American right now. Okay? So here's the thing. Like Nicole, I'm glad, that you don't watch TV. You watch me. Thank you. I appreciate that. But at the same time, there's a lot of people that still do watch legacy TV. Legacy TV. Can you believe I just said that? But there's people out here that are still watching legacy TV. Okay? People still watch the TV. That's why we still have legacy media. We still have TV shows and all that. Yes, they're trying to take over streaming and all that too. I mean, shoot, you're streaming CNN, you're streaming Fox News, you're streaming all these things as well because they're still trying to get to you guys. They're still trying to get to us, right? And yeah, Debbie, you're right. So people still listen or watch their monologues with the day after, right? People still show love and respect and want a good chuckle listening to their stand-up. Their cold open, their monologue before the show, right? So again, those things, yeah, it's a real thing. People still listen, people still watch. Even though the stuff where they're like, they have this particular person, they'll have this particular person. Oh, we got Tom Cruise in the house. Like I just so you know, like I've been in the game. Okay, I know I wasn't with the big leagues or anything like that. Okay, I was just a guy with a dream, and I was just trying to make that dream come true. But I interviewed a lot of celebrities on my show, and a lot of times it was all scripted. Okay? So when you have somebody like Tom Cruise come on your show to promote, Mission Impossible 17, what are you talking about? It's all scripted. They know exactly what kind of questions are going to be asked. So when they come in and sit down with you, they're going, oh, okay. So the exact same questions I just read 5 seconds ago. Cool. And then it's like, well, let's tell us a little fun little, they're like, oh, can we do something in here where Tom Cruise looks charismatic, Well, yeah, can we have him redo the Risky Business in real life? Him in his in the tidy whities in the button up white shirt. Can we do that? Because for a fact the ladies are gonna love it, and some of the men. Right? So then they go, yeah, let's do that. And then next thing you know, it's all scripted out. It's all scripted out. Man, it's crazy that that movie's was made 40 years ago. I don't know how many years have been, okay? But still, it's crazy that it was done 40 years ago. And he's like, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it was a great time, huge breakout role for me, made my career. Yeah, I was just wondering if you could do it all over again right now. Oh, right now? And then he rips his shirt off and it's like, oh my gosh, Tom Cruise is doing the thing from that movie from 40 years ago. And then the ladies all melt, right? It's all scripted. Tell me that time when you were Batman when you were 15 years old. Yeah, it was crazy, man. I had dreams of being Batman when I was a kid. So I wore this outfit every day, never took it off, literally never took it off. And then one day I pooped my pants. Ah, you poop your pants? That's crazy. And they act like it's like some huge situation. Like this is the first time they've ever heard this. They already heard it 17 hours ago when they were in the writer's room. That's all it is. It's all fake. It's fake. That's why you realize, or that's why you see podcasts doing very, very well out here, right? Because a lot of times you're having these conversations with people and you're getting a real reaction from them on both sides. Oh, snap. You pooped your pants? Stop, man. How did you do? How did you get out of that situation? You pooped your pants. You pooped in your skivvies as Batman. What did you do? Did you call up Robin, ask him to clean it up or something? What did you do? That's what you know what I mean? It's a real back and forth conversation, right? People are getting information from each other at the same time, at that moment in real time. These late night talk shows, all of them scripted, though. All of them from the beginning to the very end, all of it scripted. And it's all to sell soap. Sorry, but it's true. It's true. Okay? So, again, if it was to, you know what I mean, change, I don't know how much it would change because all of it is scripted. So imagine if there was some sort of, I don't know, entity basically saying, hey, we're bringing in Gutfield, whatever his last name is. No disrespect. But anyway, the guy from Fox, and he takes over the time slot for Jimmy Kimmel Live. You mean to tell me the whole show won't be scripted praising the administration? Think about it for a second, guys. Think about it. We get rid of Jimmy Fallon. We get rid of Jimmy Kimmel, the Seth Meyers, the Stephen Colberts. How much of the TV, if they ever were to take over late night TV, how much will it be of someone who's conservative but has their own opinions that isn't scripted by the higher ups? Do you get what I'm saying here? Because I know some of y'all don't want to hear what I have to say because you're already just judging what I have to say because it just, whatever, for you to go to sleep better at night. I don't know why, but I'm trying to speak some real talk to you guys. This is a big concern. I have no problem with a late night show, okay, being ran by somebody super conservative. I have no problem with it. If it was taken, if they got the job the right way. But if they say, oh, Jimmy Fallon or Stephen Colbert, right? It's like say Stephen Colbert loses his job and they just put another person in the job, right? Just plant him in the spot. You mean to tell me that person's really going to be writing and conducting a show coming from somewhere that's authentic and genuine? Or is it going to be scripted information, scripted things that they want them to say on script and on camera? I'm just saying, think about it. Think about it. Think about it for a second. Think about it for a second. Okay? Real talk. It's just something to think about. If the guy, got the job because he got the job because he's good and he's entertaining and he's funny as hell. Yes, he's conservative, but he's funny as hell and he gives you guys the jokes and the good times that you need. Cool. But if they just rip this job rip the rug out from under Jimmy Kimmel and then give that rug to somebody else, I'd be side-eyeing the hell out of that if I were you. For sure. That's just me, though. Let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this. So, of course, he's been taken off the air. So they pull him off the air immediately over comments he made about the tragedy, okay? Well, and it was really him talking about the assailant, really talking about Tyler, okay? He was really talking about Tyler Robinson, that piece of trash, okay? So earlier this week, Kimmel said during his show that the MAGA gang was trying to score political points off of Kirk's unaliving. So he has not commented, Kimmel has not commented, but Trump said it was great news for America that Kimmel lost his job. Suspension came just hours after the FCC chair, Brendan Carr, threatened to act against Disney and ABC over Kimmel's remarks. And that's a big deal. Just so you know, that is a big freaking deal. Because as soon as they said that, all the powers that be within Sinclair, within ABC, Disney, and all that, they freaked out. And then they said, he gone. He gone, guys. So Mr. Carr said, we could do this the easy way or the hard way. And this is what he said on the Benny Show. We're going to be seeing a clip of this as well. These companies can find ways to change conduct to take action, frankly, on Kimmel, or there's something going to be additional work. There's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead. So in his Monday night monologue, which we already know about what he said, okay, the late night host also noted flags being flown at half-mast, which we already know, okay? So after he said what he said about the tragedy about Charlie Kirk's assailant, okay, shortly after that, ABC announced that he had been suspended. So Trump obviously wrote on his social media post, the ratings challenged Jimmy Kimmel's show. The ratings challenged Jimmy Kimmel's show is canceled. Congratulations to ABC for finally having the courage to do what had to be done. So he was one of the top chat show personalities in the U.S. He has fronted his show, Jimmy Kimmel Live, since 2003 and has hosted the Oscars 4 different times. Crazy, right? And there are people that are looking to boycott Disney, looking to boycott Hulu, looking to boycott ABC, and anything, any entity that's underneath that umbrella, okay? Because people are very upset about this. And honestly, like even for myself, like I don't even watch TV. I don't know about y'all, but I don't even watch TV anymore. I got tired of TV. Now it's just, it's streaming. You stream everything. I stream everything. I don't know about you guys, but that's what I do. Okay. But I'm not sitting there going, ooh, the Fallon show or the Kimmel show. Can't wait to put my peepers on it. That's just me though. Because once you've seen one, you've seen them all, No disrespect, but I mean, once you've seen one, you've seen them all. I don't know. And there's something about the internet. Okay, let me just shout out to the internet. I mean, the internet can be diabolical as well, but there is something really amazing about the internet. You can watch your shows, you could do your thing, you could watch the news and get real, honest, shooting from the hip opinions about things that are going on in the world. Whereas on the news or on TV, everything's so filtered, I mean, yes, we got to be filtered on these channels here too, because we got to use these code words and all this crap too. But at least you're getting more information than what you're getting on TV. That's just what I've realized or what I've noticed. Because, like I said, they're busy selling soap. They got to sell soap. So a lot of times it's kind of like they're only talking about that one thing for 3 to 5 minutes. And then they cut to what? A commercial of soap. I'm being real. Dishwasher fluid. Liquor. Burr. Food. Okay? Applebee's. You know what I'm saying? So again, a lot of this, not a whole lot of people are watching the TV like they used to. In fact, I'm watching more of the stuff from TV on the internet, on this wonderful platform called YouTube, right? Just getting those clips. Okay, you just get me the meat and potatoes. Let me get the meat and potatoes. Let's go. You know what I mean? Get those clips. 8 to 10 minutes long, bet. Thank you. Moving on, right? And then it's like, well, I got to wait to see what Pascal got to say. And then you wait for me. And then I put in my 2 cents. And then some of you are going, boo, boo, I don't agree with you. You suck. I get it. That's fine. It's your right to say that. It's my right to not listen to you. Ah! So it is what it is, right? So again, very, very interesting stuff that's going on. My Lord. Okay, so first and foremost, oh, diggity damn. Hold on. Let me get this pulled up here because, of course, we need to take a look at some of the statements that were made by, for example, Nexstar. Let's take a look at this. I posted this on my Facebook page, which, by the way, shameless plug, but I strongly urge you guys to go over to my my Facebook page, okay? The Pascal Show. Go over there, check it out, okay? Please and thank you, because I'm posting a lot of stuff that's going on. There's so much developing information, and sometimes it's easier to just quickly write out a post online on this platform than it is to actually shoot a video on it. So please go over there and check it out, okay? So let's take a look at this. Nexstar, okay? So Nexstar ABC affiliates to preempt Jimmy Kimmel Live. So Nexstar Group Inc. or Nexstar Media Group Inc. today announced that companies owned and partner television stations affiliated with the ABC television network will preempt Jimmy Kimmel Live for the foreseeable future, beginning with tonight's show. So this guy, this is what's so crazy to me. This guy walked right into work today or yesterday, and they said, sorry, bro, you've been canceled. Kick rocks. He walked right in and walked right out. There was no real conversation about nothing, okay? And apparently he was furious, and I don't blame him for being furious. He said what he said. He walked in, they said, sorry, bro, you can't come any further. Like his fob key didn't work at the door. He's like, boop, boop, wait, what's going on here? I work here. I'm the star of the show. Yeah, sorry, buddy, you can't work here anymore. What? And you know for a fact he got a fat contract. And what's even more insane is that if he has any type of contract that I think he has, he may not be able to even go out and do stand-up right now. Do you realize how bad that is? He can't even do his doggone job. Do you realize that? Like, I don't know his contract, but you got to understand. Yeah, he got blindsided. He walked in that mug. They said, deuces. Sorry, bro. Thank you so much. You know, we love you, but you've been fired. Sorry, buddy. Bye-bye. And he got turned around and got thrown back into the back of a pickup truck, and he drove off. I'm dead serious. Now, there are contracts where they're like, you can't do anything else. We own your likeness for these amounts of years. I'm being dead serious. He may not even be able to go on YouTube. I know that's instantly I was like, oh, we about to see him on the YouTube like Don Lemon. You know, he going to be out here just having a great time. You're going to be doing all kinds of stand-up tours and all that. Nope. There's a possibility he may not be able to do any of that because they own his name. They own his name and likeness for however long that contract is. So right now, he needs to be lawyering the F up and seeing if he can get himself out of that contract for wrongful termination or something of that sort. I'm being dead serious. This is real talk. This is real talk. Have you noticed? You don't see Jimmy Fallon running around going, oh my God, doing his, guitar and doing performances elsewhere. You don't see him go on tour. Hell to the no. He is stuck doing the late night talk show, period. Just like Jimmy Kimmel Live. He may not be able to do anything for a while. He can't even do his own version of the Man Show. Not even that, y'all. Yeah. That's a deep cut too. Yes, guys, he's locked in. Now, like I said, this is just me assuming. This is just me speculating. But these contracts are ironclad. They don't mess around, y'all. So he couldn't even go out like Chris Rock going, no, I'm saying I just walked around and got slapped in the face by Will Smith. He can't even do that. He can't even do a big ass like Netflix special and say the day I said something about an assailant. He can't even do that, y'all. For a considerable amount of time, unless and only unless he's able to get his lawyers in there and get that contract terminated. Right? And if Simon for president, if his contract ends next year, then he can't do anything for a year. You see what I'm saying? Until that contract ends. So he's screwed. He can't even go out there and express himself like he was doing on his show. Legally and constitutionally, might I add. But moving on. Crazy, right? Crazy. So he might have a muzzle. He might be muzzled until the contract ends, unless he gets his lawyers involved. Let's continue on. He's screwed, y'all. He's screwed. Okay? Mr. Kimmel's comments about the demise of Mr. Kirk are offensive and insensitive at a critical time in our national political discourse. And we do not believe they reflect the spectrum of opinions, views, or values of the local communities in which we are located. And this is the president of Nexstar's broadcasting division. This is what they said. Continuing to give Mr. Kimmel a broadcast platform in the communities we serve is simply not a public interest at the current time. And we have made the difficult decision to preempt his show in an effort to let cooler heads prevail as we move toward the resumption of respectful, constructive dialogue. That's just one of them. Let's continue, because people had things to say. Here's another one by people for the American way. So they said a statement on the suspension of Jimmy Kimmel Live. President Trump has a dangerous habit of harassing, threatening, and punishing news outlets for coverage he doesn't like. Corporate executives who collaborate with the Trump regime's attacks on freedom of speech are betraying their values. Every time a media company gives in to Trump's authoritarian demands, Americans are a bit less free. Americans, including comedians, have a right to say things that anger the people in power. If our First Amendment freedoms are to survive this presidency, we need more courage and less complicity for our leaders, or from our leaders. What you think, guys? I was literally about to say this feels... No, well, they act like he's Lenny Bruce. This feels kind of like that, though. It does feel kind of like that. Lenny Bruce was constantly thrown into jail for saying things on during his stand-up. And you sit there going, I don't get it. I have freedom of speech. What the hell is going on? I should be able to say what I want. Lenny Bruce went through some hard times because he said what he said on stand-up. And because the powers that be didn't agree with what he had to say. That's not good. Freedom of speech should always be the number one, which it is. It's number one on the list. It's number one on the Constitution. 1A, baby. I know everybody's like, 2A, brother. What about 1A? What happened to that? What happened, dog? What happened? It gone. It be gone, baby. It's not here right now. Let's go to the next one. Writers Guild of America also said this. So a statement about the decision to pull Jimmy Kimmel Live. The right to speak our minds and to disagree with each other, to disturb even, is at the very heart of what it means to be a free people. It is not to be denied, not by violence, not by the abuse of governmental power, nor by acts or of corporate cowardice. As a guild, we stand united in opposition to anyone who uses their power and influence to silence the voices of writers or anyone who speaks in dissent. If free speech applied only to the ideas we like, we needn't have bothered to write it into the Constitution. Bars. What we have signed on to, painful as it may be at times, is the freeing agreement to disagree. Shame on those in government who forget this founding truth. As for our employers, Our words have made you rich. Oh, snap. Oh, snap. Silencing us impoverishes the whole world. And of course, they say they stand with Jimmy Kimmel and his writers. So here's the thing, guys. As much as you may disagree, as much as you may not like Jimmy Kimmel, you may not like what he stands for, you may not like his jokes. He may not even be funny to you. Maybe you are someone who's left-leaning, but you just don't think he's funny. No matter what, his rights were taken. He was fired over saying something that wasn't really that bad. It wasn't like he said anything disparaging towards towards Kirk, towards the Kirk family, towards Turning Point USA. He made he took a jab at the administration and Trump. That's really what it was. But I get it. People are going to see people are going to see it how they want to see it. People are going to agree to disagree because everybody has selective outrage. See what I did there with the Chris Rock thing? It was a callback. But anyway, people have selective outrage. As soon as they hear what he had to say, then all of a sudden, people are clutching their pearls and they're saying, please get him canceled. This is something bigger than that. That's what I truly think. This should not be happening. It's sad. It's very messed up. And there are parts of me that go, okay, I wish he never had said what he said. But he said it. Should he be losing his job because of saying something that was his opinion? Like, yeah, I said before, and like a lot of us have agreed. Because here's the thing. Here's the other thing too. Because you could take a look at the situation with Charlie Kirk. What I mean by this is this. Charlie Kirk spoke his mind. I didn't agree with a lot of things that he said. I don't have to. He had a right to say what he wanted to say. Unfortunately, now he lost his life, and that's terrible. Okay? But he had a right to say what he wanted to say, and he said it. Shouldn't this guy have the same respect? Okay? Thank you, Private. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for making it very clear. I'm trying to pull it up. Yes. Boom. I'm saying he should be able to say what he wants to say. If it got past his people and all of his people are like, sure, go ahead and do it. Say what you need to say. And it's all scripted. It's scripted. They're reading these big cue cards. They're writing these big cue cards and he's reading them off. It was approved by his own company, by his own people. Okay. And then he said what he said. We have a right to choose what we want to listen to and say what we want to say. If Charlie Kirk is somebody that you enjoyed listening to, but I didn't enjoy listening to him, I'm not running around here, like, for example, trying to get him canceled when he was alive. I just chose not to listen to him. That's my right. If he wants to be there's so many corners of the world, like I said, so many corners of the world. If he wanted to be in that corner of the world, a specific corner of the world, I don't need to venture over there. It's the same thing with Jimmy Kimmel. I don't have to listen to him. I don't. I'll go over here. Let the ratings get him canceled. Not because of something that he said on his show that wasn't damning to the family or to Charlie Kirk. You understand that, right? But like I said, some people are refusing to hear that. Some people are refusing to hear that because they're selective outrage, which is sad. But this is the world that we live in, unfortunately. If it doesn't fit the narrative, if it doesn't fit under the umbrella of whatever side you are on, suddenly everyone gets outraged. Suddenly everyone gets mad. And in this situation, because let's be real, you're mad, understandably, that Charlie Kirk lost his life because he was speaking his mind. Real talk. It's messed up and it's sad. This guy is speaking his mind and he just got his whole show terminated. Hundreds of people, hundreds of jobs gone. Hardworking people lost their jobs. That's wrong too. That's wrong too. Because he said what he said. Do you get what I'm saying here? But everyone's like, unsubscribed. What? This is the problem with the hypocrisy of this country. This is exactly the reason why I get so frustrated with how people treat each other. It's that selective outrage. It's that selective, I don't even know what the word is. But it's the, because he said this, how dare he? There are so many things that so many people have said that have been so wrong, and they still got their jobs. They still got their jibby jobs, baby. He said one thing, which wasn't that bad. Like I said, it wasn't anything disparaging towards Kirk or his family, or even Turning Point USA, or anything that he stands for as far as like his beliefs and whatnot. He made a jab at the Trump administration. And everyone suddenly is going, good, and getting mad for other people who are standing and saying, hey, this is not right. Because it started with Charlie Kirk losing his life. Now it's going to start with other people losing their jobs, if not lives too, for saying what they say, saying what they want to say. That's ridiculous. The hypocrisy is showing, y'all. The hypocrisy is showing, and it's bad. That's why I said everybody needs to wake up. And no, I'm not sitting here saying, we got to be woke. Nah, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying wake up. Because this is what's happening right here could happen to any other show. Anybody who challenges the administration, anybody who says anything about the administration, anything, and he catches wind of it, X'd out. That's insane. That's insane, and that's wrong. That's wrong, y'all. And if y'all don't see that, I don't know how else to basically explain it to y'all. So, again, like I said, I don't agree. I'm not a Jimmy Kimmel fan. Okay. I'm not. But at the same time, I'm a fan of being able to say what you want to say. I think this is the sad part too, because you got people out here that are, look at all these comedians that are out here. All of them. Even the successful ones that are on TV all the time, to the ones that are, just doing stand up, just doing the beat, right? They're doing the circuit, right? What about those guys? Comedians that are doing skits on social media platforms and all that. Are we going to be in that place where every single person gets canceled because they just make a joke? I don't know, man. I just think we need to start looking at ourselves in a way, looking back at ourselves for a minute. Yeah, Debbie, I agree with that too. Comedians are most definitely an endangered species. I agree with that 110%. Okay? And a lot of them are risking their own neck to just say a joke. And sure, you could be offended, but does that mean that that person should lose their livelihood for just talking on a microphone? This, like I said, this is so big. Let me remind you guys, this is not like this is the first time this happened. Stephen Colbert lost his job near the end, next year, his job is over. Stephen Colbert. Doesn't matter if you like him or not. That's just facts. He said some things on his show, which he has every right to say those things, and he has been canceled. We're looking at corporate cancellation or something like that. Whatever. We're looking at the corporate version of cancellation. That's what we're looking at right now. Stephen Colbert. Now you got Jimmy Kimmel. Who's next? Unless they get right and they don't say anything disparaging towards or critical, some sort of hilarious criticism of the administration, then they'll be able to keep their job. But then what they're going to talk about? What about the Daily Show? What about the Daily Show? I enjoy the Daily Show from time to time. That's one show I actually tune into for the opening monologue, especially for Jimmy, especially for Stewart. Okay, especially for him. Okay, I think he's pretty funny. I like how he delivers his monologue. Right? What about them? What about them? Thank you, Jon Stewart. I have too many Jimmys in my head. Okay, that sounded weird, but you know what I mean. Too many Jimmys in my head. All right. But I like listening to what he has to say, like as far as like a week recap, and he's just breaking everything down, and he's funny, and he puts in his 2 cents about certain things. Is he going to lose his job too? Shoot, is SNL going to be canceled for good? Because they would go in on the administration like a mug too. Like I said, we got to look into this stuff. This is serious. This is serious. Yes, I do think that there needs to be more of an even amount of conservative and liberal voices on like basic cable. I agree with that. I do think that there needs to be. I think there needs to be a balance. But this is not how you do it. It's not. This gives off a different vibe. It most definitely gives off a different vibe. Okay? It does. But moving on. Because we got more to talk. I mean, it's still within this conversation, but there's a lot that's going on. Okay? One thing is for sure. This is crazy. But they're also looking, Sinclair says the suspension is not enough. So they're calling on the FCC and ABC to take more action. So Sinclair, the nation's largest ABC affiliate group, objects to recent comments made by Mr. Kimmel concerning of course, the unaliving of Charlie Kirk. As discussed with ABC earlier today, Sinclair decided to indefinitely preempt Jimmy Kimmel Live. So we already know that they said that his remarks were inappropriate and deeply insensitive and a critical moment for our country. So they're saying that the ABC stations will air a special remembrance of Charlie Kirk this Friday during Jimmy Kimmel Live's time slot, which we already talked about. So they will not lift the suspension of Jimmy Kimmel Live on our stations until formal discussions are held with ABC regarding the network's commitment to professionalism and accountability. Sinclair also calls upon Kimmel, here's the thing, to issue a direct apology to the Kirk family. Furthermore, we asked Mr. Kimmel to make a meaningful personal donation to the Kirk family and Turning Point USA. Wild. So here's the thing. They don't only want him to say, people, what I said, I meant that in jest. It was a joke. I apologize. Of course, my heart goes out to the family, and as he should say, think that too. I mean, losing a loved one is no joke, right? I apologize, lo siento, right? He also has to pay. He also have to give a meaningful donation to the Kirk family and to Charlie Kirk's organization, Turning Point USA. So Jimmy Kimmel has to drop millions of dollars, because it's not like he's just going to be like, oh, here's $1,000. Oh yeah, and you just got to split that. So it'd be 500 for TP USA, and then another 5 for the fam. No. He's going to have to drop millions of dollars because he said something that was his opinion. I'm just going to let that sit and soak down to your plums real quick. Hold on. Go on. Think about that for a second. Does that feel good? What do you think about that? I doubt that this is in his clause. I doubt this is a clause in his contract. I highly, highly doubt that is a clause in his contract, that suddenly out of nowhere, the clause in his contract is he has to pay money to the Kirk family and the Turning Point USA as if they knew that this issue was going to go down. Nah. Nah. Yeah, this is ridiculous. I could see an apology, not only just written, but also on his show. I could see maybe him going, okay, I'll bring on the wife, Erica, onto the show, and we could chop it up, so on and so forth. Okay? But at the same time, is this okay? Would that suffice? Here's the other thing, too. Do you really think he's going to go crawling back, groveling? Do you remember the whole thing when he got hit with the blackface situation? I mean, he didn't even really apologize. From what I remember, did he apologize for that? I don't even think he really apologized for that. I feel like he just was like, yeah, it was a thing that I did in the past. Moving on. And people are going in on him about the blackface thing. Do you really think he's going to cave for this? By the way, this is the letterhead is Sinclair. Sinclair Broadcasting Group. Let me just remind you of that. Sinclair. Yeah, I doubt it. I doubt that he's going to actually do it. If he does, I'll be shook. It's basically because he needs the monies, and the money's good. But at the same time, what is that going to say to everybody else that's watching him? That he's willing to bend a knee, that he's willing to bend over and get, and get shapoopied, okay, by the administration. I don't think he would ever apologize. But maybe he would. I don't know. I can't predict this guy. I can't read this man's mind. But it would be shocking if he did actually go, yeah, I'm sorry. My bad. Lo siento. Here's some money. Now I got my show back. I feel bad for Guillermo, for the likes of Guillermo and other people that are involved in his show. Like I said, it's all those people losing a job. It's not just him. So he might do it solely because there's other people that have mouths. He's got mouths to feed that are beyond just his wife and his kids. It's beyond just healthcare. Man has enough money to live off of the money for the rest of his days. I mean, come on. He's very, very wealthy. All right. The late night show that payment is no joke. It's good monies. That's why these guys stay with it for so long. Not only because they love the job, but because it's good money. But I don't think he's going to be going in and bending a knee. I just don't see it. I just don't see it anytime soon. I just don't. But let's take a look at this. We got to look at this from CNN. Yes, I know somebody gonna be like, oh my gosh, but it's a very interesting discussion. Let's just take a look at a little bit of this, okay? Because they're talking about this whole thing too, and they brought somebody on that is Well, there's a couple of people on here, but they feel like what happened here. Some feel like it was the right thing to do, and some think it's wrong, that it's unconstitutional, and that this was too extreme. I could see him getting like a little bit of a slap on the wrist type of deal, but him just getting completely X'd out, maybe just being suspended, like, have somebody else guest host the show for like a week or two. I could see something like that. But for him to just lose his gig and all those other people losing their gig all at the same time, it's diabolical, y'all. It's some crazy stuff. Actually, before I go into that, Mr. and Mrs. Steele, thank you. Mrs. and Mr. Steele, thank you so much for being a member for over 39 months. Damn. Thanks for covering this, because this story is very important, very alarming. This is more than cancel culture. It's federal censorship. Sending love. Thank you. And you ain't wrong. This is corporate federal censorship, basically. Yes. Not wrong with that at all. General Scott, thank you so much for gifting 1 membership. And Rianne, thank you so much for gifting 1 membership. Like I said, this is bigger than what everybody is trying to make it seem like. That's the reason why I said everybody needs to start waking the F up. This is bigger than what it is, than what you're thinking it is. Some people are like, he lost his job, no big deal. That's what you get. And it's like, no, this is bigger than that, y'all. This has the potential to be something bigger than what we're seeing right now. Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel. This is only in the span of a few months, by the way, guys. A few months. Sure. I don't see Seth Meyers skating. I don't see him tiptoeing around. I see Jimmy Fallon doing the hell out of that. Okay. Doing his, and doing his thing. I can see all that happening. Him just tiptoeing around as much as he can because he wants to keep the job. And he's responsible for hundreds of people, hundreds of people that are part of his crew. Same thing with Seth Meyers. But I just don't see Seth Meyers backing off. I see Seth Meyers just going in. And you got to remember, the only reason why this is happening is because Seth Meyers, all of these late night talk shows hosts have made jokes at the Trump administration's, at the Trump administration's expense. That's literally all it is, if you really think about it, guys. Doesn't matter if you're a supporter of Trump or not a supporter of Trump. I'm speaking facts right here. They make jokes about Trump almost every single day as part of their stand-up. Do you remember when the last remember the last administration, his last term, his first term? Okay. Remember that ish? They were properly minted, love, with making so many views and so many dollars from making fun of Trump and the administration at that time. Literally, they made jokes at Trump and the administration's expense, and they walked all the way to the bank because they had views. They were getting views on TV, and they were getting views online as well. If you don't believe me, go back and take a look. You can't deny that Trump makes good content, makes for good content. As soon as you say Trump's name, people tune in. And there's a lot of wild stuff that was happening in the first term. And there's a lot of wild stuff that's happening in this term too. I'm just being real. There was 4 years of Sleepy Joe. And they weren't making the views and the clicks like they were when Trump was in town. But then Trump came back, and what's up? They rev back up the jokes all over again. That's just facts, y'all. That's just facts. So now all of them are making jokes. I don't think Jimmy Fallon does it anymore. I think he averts the jokes. I don't think he makes jokes about Trump anymore, unless it's like a blanketed overview like joke. He keeps it very safe because he doesn't want to get in trouble. He saw what happened to Stephen Colbert. He don't want to get in trouble. He's very safe. Seth, though, The Daily Show, though, So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Okay? For the two just said, new show, The Canceled Post with the canceled hosts. Yeah, I can see that. I could definitely see that in the future. I could definitely see something like that. The Canceled Show, right? It's like, who's on the chopping block today? And it's just like a pinwheel. You know what I mean? Oh, it looks like we land on Jimmy Kimmel. Oh, shoot. That just sucks for Jimmy Kimmel. Man, sorry about that. Well, see you guys next time on The Canceled Show. You know what I mean? I mean, it's crazy. Grateful, thank you so much. The sad little politicians can't take the bullying, and that's what it means. That's what it seems is happening. Comedians make fun of people. Yes, they do. Politicians have been burnt of jokes for decades. This is nothing new. You are not wrong with that. Okay, Grateful, you are not wrong with that. Again, you can be on this. You could be a Trump supporter. You could be a left wing, supporter of the left. Doesn't matter. You know for a fact that that is true. They were making fun of Biden when he was in office too. The millions of times that he would just walk off. Like, okay, come on. All right. I want some ice cream. Oh, not this, that way. Okay. Right? You know what I mean? He'll just walk up and go, all right. Aardvark. Okay, come on. Come on. And then to walk off stage and then stand in the corner and go, I just dookied myself. Yeah. You know what I mean? They made fun of him all the time as well. They make fun of them all of them. Michelle, thank you so much for the love. It's a scary, sad world we are living in now. Yep, it is. Like I said, this is bad. This is bad. And if you don't see it, God love you. It's okay if you don't see it. But I'm telling you right now, we are in some serious trouble. And we need to get this ship back towards its true north because it's going off. It is completely lost navigation right now. Okay? It's bad. Let's continue. Let's take a look.
Disney and the ABC network are taking Jimmy Kimmel Live off the air indefinitely. This follows a controversy over comments the late-night comedian made Monday night about Charlie Kirk's suspected killer and the MAGA movement and their reaction to the assassination. Let's get straight to CNN's chief media affairs correspondent, Brian Stelter. Brian, what is going on?
That's right. This is fast developing this afternoon, Jake, amid pressure from the Trump-aligned FCC. And in the past few minutes, ABC confirmed to CNN that Kimmel's show will be off the air, quote, indefinitely. We have not yet heard from Kimmel or his representatives. That's how quickly this has been developing. But let's back up and look at what Kimmel actually said on the program that has caused controversy. This is from Monday night in his Monday evening monologue. Kimmel suggested that the alleged killer of Charlie Kirk might have been a pro-Trump Republican. He said, quote, the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. He said in between the finger pointing, there was grieving. Kimmel was expressing what we've heard some other liberals say in recent days, that the motives are unclear and that maybe the suspect in this case was a Republican or was some sort of far-right fringe figure. Of course, there has been a lot of discussion about that in recent days. There's a lot of evidence pointing in other directions about the suspect. But Kimmel was on the air talking about this, making a very serious commentary amid his jokes in his monologue Monday night.
Now, I want to say this really quick. Let me just make this absolutely clear. Do you remember when this whole thing went down, when Charlie Kirk tragically lost his life and there were people that were instantly saying that the actual assailant was trans? Don't worry, I'll wait. Do you not remember that there are also people saying at the time that the person was MAGA because of the family he came from? Don't worry, I'll wait. Do you remember the rumor that was going around that he had a boyfriend that was a furry / transgender individual? It wasn't a roommate, but now it's a lover. Then it went back to a roommate, and now it went back to a lover who is a transgender individual. You remember that? So maybe when he recorded this show, he heard at that time that the guy was MAGA. There are still people, I'm telling you right now, there are still people on the left that are saying that the kid was MAGA. Sorry. But there are still people on the left that are still claiming right now as we speak, they're still doing videos right now as they make, that are saying that this kid was MAGA. That it wasn't leftist ideologies that got him going, that got him to do what he did, that it was MAGA. Yes, there was so much misinformation floating all over the place, and we were reading it all. By the way, they were all saying it. Okay? They were all saying it. All periodicals were saying this. You had the Washington Post, you had the Wall Street Journal, you had all these other highly respected periodicals, legacy media saying these things, guys. Oh no, he was definitely MAGA. Oh no, he's trans. He was trans. He was a trans man. All of that. And guess what? They were wrong in the beginning. And here's the thing though. Some media outlets are still hanging on to certain pieces to basically say, well, if his family was MAGA, he must have been MAGA. So that's why this whole thing went down. Like I said, there are people on the left and even on the right that are still thinking, very few on the right, but a few on the right that are literally thinking that this guy was MAGA and that there's some sort of deep red sleeper cell thing going on, okay? That has nothing to do with trans. Then there's on the right where they're saying there's some deep, crazy information about there being this cell of murderous transgender individuals who are running around gun-toting, wanting to take down the establishment. You're hearing it on both sides. You're hearing it on both sides. So clearly he's left-leaning, so he leaned on the left and said what he said. I'm just saying, because there's so much information out here, and there's so much misinformation out here, we don't know what's what. I mean, I think it's something. But at the same time, everyone's coming out with their opinions. He had his. Is it wrong? Well,
here's where it became interesting earlier today. The FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, went on a far-right webcast and condemned Kimmel and urged ABC to suspend him. He also talked about possible regulatory punishments of Disney because there are lots of different stations that have licenses with the FCC. Within the past hour, we've heard from a big owner of stations that have affiliations with ABC, a company called Nexstar, saying that they were going to suspend Kimmel's show on their station. So in other words, about 24 stations were refusing to air Kimmel's show tonight as a result of this controversy. And then following word that some of those stations were basically revolting against Kimmel, Disney, the parent company of ABC, decided to yank the show entirely. So that's all we know at the moment. We know that Kimmel will not be on the air tonight or for the foreseeable future because the network says the show has been yanked off the air indefinitely.
Brian, just to take one issue, your interpretation of what Kimmel said, I think, is the one that Brendan Carr had and the one that the individuals at Nexstar have. But what he said specifically was, quote, the MAGA gang is desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. that can be read in several ways. That could be heard in several ways. It could also be it could also be argued he's saying that what the MAGA gang is doing is just trying to make sure that they don't have any ownership of it, not necessarily that this killer, this horrible person, was part of them. I mean,
I think you're making a very important point.
Yeah,
You're making a very important point. And let's take it a little bit step further. This was all on Monday night. Nobody seemed to notice this yesterday, Jake. This all erupted in the past few hours when the Trump-aligned FCC chairman decided to point at it. Now, I've heard from him in the past few minutes, Brendan Carr, thanking Nexstar for doing the right thing by yanking the show. He has not yet commented on ABC yanking the show altogether across the entire country. But let's remember that when Stephen Colbert's show was canceled over the summer, what did President Trump say? He said, next up will be an even less talented Jimmy Kimmel. It is clear that pro-Trump allies have been trying to target ABC over Kimmel for several weeks now, and tonight they've prevailed.
I'm just saying, Trump said it. And now he has put out other posts after Jimmy Kimmel got the axe. He said, now we got to look at Seth Meyers and Jimmy Fallon. He's even said that. Okay. Yeah. They just waited for him to slip up. They just waited for him to say something, and then they pounced. Trump was like, nah. He called the powers that be, and he's like, no, man, we ain't doing this. This ain't I ain't having it. Because he said what he said. Because he said what he said. Okay. Like I said, I don't agree with what he said, but at the same time, he has every right to say it if he wants to.
Yeah, Brian Stelter, thanks so much for that breaking news. Let's go right to the panel. And let me first start by showing, I wondered what was going on earlier today when I saw this pop up on Twitter. This is the FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, on a far-right podcast talking about what Kimmel's comments were. Let's roll that tape.
You know, when you look at the conduct that has taken place by Jimmy Kimmel, it appears to be some of the sickest conduct possible. Obviously, look, there's calls for Kimmel to be fired. I think, you know, you could certainly see a path forward for suspension over this. And again, you know, the FCC is going to have remedies that we could look at.
Joe, are you?
Hold on. I do have to say this. Sick? Nah. I've heard sick. I've heard sicker on TV. That wasn't sick. I think it was an opinion based on opinion and based on a bias. Sick, though? Meh.
Are you comfortable with the FCC playing this role?
I don't think this is a legal issue. I don't think this can be pointed to the FCC or the Trump administration and say, well, this is about them going after Kimmel because of what he said. Personally, I think it's more of a cultural issue. And I got to tell you, look, I'm about as moderate a Republican as you're going to get. I'm from New York. I have not been comfortable watching late night television 15 years because when you have conservative leanings and you're constantly mocked and you constantly feel like you're doing something wrong, you shut it off. You don't watch it anymore. And then what happens is it's circular. If the host doesn't have that audience, the host doesn't worry about keeping an audience like that. It goes in circles. And at some point, you get things like this where you say things, and that wasn't the full quote. The further quote was that he mocked President Trump for flying the flags at half-staff in remembrance of Charlie Kirk and said it's like grieving of a 4-year-old, as a 4-year-old grieves for a goldfish.
No,
that was the full quote there.
Well, the full quote was, I think he ran the clip of a reporter asking President Trump how he was doing with the death of Charlie Kirk. And President Trump said, I think I'm doing okay. And then he proceeded to talk about the ballroom that was being built on the White House grounds. I think that was the full context. Again, I didn't say any of this. I'm just trying to present as accurate a picture of what did happen. Ellie, this is the FCC commissioner.
Right.
I don't think we have seen an FCC commissioner this aggressive in our lifetimes. What do you think of it all?
So to the point of whether there's a legal element here, I think Joe's right. Like the First Amendment says Congress shall make no law, which means you can only enforce the First Amendment against the government. So can Jimmy Kimmel sue? No, he can't. He can't sue ABC for making a decision to remove him. That's a private entity. But what Donald Trump is doing repeatedly is he's expanding his executive power in two ways. One, I would say, is precedented. That's the traditional stuff. I have more authority to hire and fire executive branch officials. I don't have to respond to Congress, that kind of thing. He's fighting that out in the court. We've seen that before. What's unprecedented, however, is the way Donald Trump is using official power from the FCC on to go after universities, law firms, and media companies that he disagrees with on policy or on politics. That is new. We've not seen that from any president before.
This is actually cancel culture. I mean, that's what this is. The chairman of the Fed, Federal Communications Commission, Brendan Carr, added on Benny Johnson's podcast that the broadcasters, including ABC, have a license granted by us at the FCC, and that comes with it an obligation to operate in the public interest. Elsewhere in the interview, Carr attacked Kimmel as talentless and suggested the late night comedian's comments displayed some sort of, quote, desperate irrelevance. Is that what we want the FCC chairman to be doing?
It's a very slippery slope, and there's a pattern. We keep talking about it like it's not happening, and it just keeps happening over and over and over again with folks he disagrees with. I'm a Democrat. I'll say what happened to Charlie Kirk is disgusting. We should have a court. If he did it, he should be prosecuted to every extent of the law. We shouldn't have to say that. That's just common sense. But we also should say the First Amendment matters to everybody, whether they agree or they disagree. And I just think that what we're going through right now is unprecedented. It's unseemly. And I think that it's really getting out of hand because it's just happening more and more and more with folks who disagree.
We do have the clip that Jimmy Kimmel said Monday night. Obviously this is not the entire 8 or 9 minute monologue. This is just one clip of it, but this is.
Yeah, we have already seen it. But I'm glad that they're having this open forum kind of conversation with varying opinions in the spot. Okay. Yeah, let's not forget, Lucinda, you're not wrong with that too. You know, you had TMZ laughing in the background and cheering. That they had people cheering in the background when the news of Charlie Kirk's life was taken. When there was news of him being gone, people were literally cheering right at that time, the same time that they got the news that he lost his life, and they were like, "Oh yeah," they were just looking at this car chase, and the car chase ended terribly and crazy, and they were just reacting to the crash of this car chase. I'm like, nah, I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think they were literally relishing in the fact that Charlie Kirk lost his life, which is really jacked up. Real talk. Really jacked up. But that's just my thoughts on that. Okay. But again, like I said, it's he had his remarks. He had some things. He said some things, right? But here's the thing, though. There's other people that should have their whole job on the chopping block as well. Hate to pull this up, but I'm going to pull it up anyway. Hold on. Let me check something real quick. Let me just check something real quick. Okay. Real quick. Okay. So there was a show. It's called Fox and Friends, right? It's a morning show. They're doing their thing. I'm only pulling this up to show example. All right. What he said, sure, you can argue that it was not great. Okay. But this dude right here, this guy said some really jacked up stuff here. Jacked up stuff about houseless people, how to get rid of the houseless population. But this is funny. This is funny. This is funny. See, this is funny. This is funny. This is what happens. Everyone's like, well, everybody makes mistakes sometimes. But then when it comes to Jimmy Kimmel, and they're like, yeah, this is what you get, mother lover. This is insane. Oh my God. Come on, man. I'm just giving you guys facts. And I'm just trying to point out how America is so hypocritical. It is insane how hypocritical some people can be. Look at this. Look, I want to read this. Or involuntary lethal injection or something. Just kill him. This came from a host from Fox and Friends just a few days ago. This guy still got his mother-loving job. He still got his mother-loving job. And he said something even worse than Kimmel. And it's not like, oh, yeah, we all have bad days. Nope, this is bad. Let's play it. Like I said, there are going to be some people on some side of the world that's going to be like, yo, though. But and it's like, wait a second, it can't be true for some and not true for others. It's got to be both. And he said it worse. Take a listen. He said it worse.
They have given billions of dollars to mental health and the homeless population. A lot of them don't want to take the programs. A lot of them don't want to get the help that is necessary. You can't give them a choice. Either you take the resources that we're going to give you or you decide that you're going to be locked up in jail. That's the way it has to be now.
Or involuntary lethal injection or something. Just kill them.
No, that was not AI. No, that was not some special effects. No, it wasn't like some hot mic thing that he said at random while the cameras were off. He said this out loud live. Now, sure, he could sit there and say, oh, it was a joke. I meant that as a joke. It's a joke, but it's not. It's not. He still got his job, though. He went on later on to apologize profusely. He went on later to apologize profusely. He went on I think it was 2 or 3 other shows where he was just on the Fox and Friends show. And he said, no, my bad. Lo siento. My bad. Right? Yeah, Private. He's not a comedian. And the people who, if you saw the full video, he just says it and he continues on. Okay? See, this is the problem here. This is the problem. And I love you, beautiful, messy ball. Okay? But see, this is the problem. You were shocked that he said that, and you thought it was his opinion was sick. He didn't say it as fact. But he still said it as an opinion. Okay? Kimmel said something as fact and misled viewers. No, he didn't say it as fact. He said it as opinion. He said it as his own opinion. With all due respect, how you not see the diff? No, it's the same freaking thing. I'm sorry. With all due respect, I got mad respect for you too, but it's the same freaking thing. He said his opinion. Jimmy Kimmel was saying his opinion. His thing was saying, kill them all, right? Jimmy Kimmel was like, yeah, they're using this to, clearly you could see that they're using this to give the right more reasons to hate the left, or, they're trying to turn him into some sort of martyr and politicize it in some sort of way. That is opinion. Come on, guys. Come on, wake up. Wake up. Please, everybody wake up. Drink that coffee. Wake up. Look. Step out of your own biases. Sit right in the middle and look at both sides and go, oh, my Lord, y'all are all crazy. All y'all are knucking futs. Okay? But he should have been fired for this too. If that's the case, this mother lover right here should have lost his job too. Should have. You don't say that live on a microphone, on a show. You know what happened later? A bunch of people got shot. Homeless people got shot in Minneapolis, I'm sorry. Whole bunch of Minneapolians, okay, got shot. Homeless. Day or two after this whole thing aired. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that that's completely a connection, but it is kind of weird that that happened after the fact. I'm just trying to point something out, y'all. I don't agree with what he said, but he still has his job. Jimmy Kimmel said what he said, but he didn't say anything about taking the lives of any MAGA supporters or anything of that sort. He just said his opinion. Both are opinions. Sure, this guy was saying it in jest, I'm assuming, but it's still an opinion nonetheless. Is it not? Both are opinions. It's not like, let me point this out too. It's not like Jimmy Kimmel, I keep on saying Jimmy Fallon, but Jimmy Kimmel, it's not like Jimmy Kimmel went up and pulled out like a whole spreadsheet or, showed statistics or anything. He just said his thoughts, just like this guy saying his thoughts. I think what this guy said is way more egregious, way more deplorable than what Jimmy Kimmel said. Because Jimmy Kimmel didn't say anything about Charlie Kirk's demise specifically. He didn't go towards them. He didn't go after the family or him or how he lost his life. He talked about how the right is using it to basically step on top of it, right? To use it as a catapult, use it as a platform, okay? They're capitalizing on his demise kind of thing. That's what he said, okay? This guy said bye-bye to homeless people. Just lethal just take them out. That's a big deal. I'm sorry. And he still got his job. And he's on Fox and Friends. You know how many people watch Fox and Friends in the morning? A lot of people watch Fox and Friends in the morning. And so for the next 2 days after this thing went viral, he was on there groveling, apologizing for what he said, because he knew for a fact what he said was wrong. They haven't really given Jimmy Kimmel that opportunity now, did they? They did not. He walked into the studio, into the space, and they said, "You're fired. Show's canceled." He didn't even get a chance. They didn't even go to him and go, "Hey, what you said, do you think you could walk that back in today's, opening monologue?" They didn't even give him that. They just said, "Go. Bye-bye. There's the door, buddy. I'm sorry." Whole show's canceled, by the way. No, we're not even. Nope. The whole show is canceled. Everything you've built, gone. Right? And Nicole B, maybe he was, right? Maybe he was warned beforehand. If he was warned beforehand, that'd be a different story. He might be like, "F it. I'm gonna talk my talk. Let me cook, bro." He might have done that, or maybe not. He might have been in a room full of yes people that were like, "Yeah, I think that's fine. Let's go with that." Blah 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 blah. And then he did the interview or did the opening monologue. That could be it too. But like I said, if you are going over towards Kimmel like this, they should have been going after this dude as well. Can't apply to left-leaning host and not apply the same thing. Can't apply to a right-leaning host. That's hypocritical. You see what I'm saying? I'm just trying to point some things out to you, babies. I love you guys. I love you guys so much. I do. But this is facts. In 4K live, he said this out loud. So, again, like I said, just he still has his job. Good for him. Good for him that he still has his job. Okay? But at the same time, this is also a channel or a show that, and with all due respect, loves them some Trump. He's calling in. He's a guest on the show and all that. They don't say any bad things towards Trump or throw any jabs at Trump in any type of way. They are a supporter of Trump. So, of course, they're never going to be on the chopping block, even if he says anything as nefarious as that. But Jimmy Kimmel will always be on the chopping block. Always. In fact, I think, and I may be crazy, but I think that if he didn't say the first part that he said about the MAGA, like using this as a, a way, like a platform, you know what I mean? The demise of Charlie Kirk. And if he just only pointed out the fact that Trump was like, they're like, how are you doing? President Trump, how are you doing with the passing of Charlie Kirk? And he's like, yeah, good. Look at the buildings that we're doing. We're doing some really dope things. Like he just completely went left, like, complete right turn, right? You know what I mean? And he's like, oh yeah, look at the building. Completely not, you know what I mean? I still think he would be on the chopping block because of the goldfish comment. Real talk, I think he still would have been on the chopping block. I still think he would have been in trouble no matter what. And here's the thing, guys. I mean, these people that we have on these shows that we watch every day, that we highly respect, that we love, that we chuckle at their jokes, that we chuckle in their, or buy their clothes or, their latest album or whatever the hell it is that they're selling to you. Okay. Like I get that we have a certain connection to these people, to these hosts. I get it. And all they're doing, and one thing that we do appreciate about them is that they give us their personality, but they also give us their opinions and what they think about things that are going on in the world. If you happen to be a pundit, you're speaking it in some sort of diplomatic, sometimes not diplomatic way. If you're a comedian, you're throwing some sort of comedic spin on the situation. I think that Kimmel just did exactly that. Just made a joke. And that's it. But, if homeboy could keep his job, even after talking about wiping out the homeless population, then I think that Jimmy Kimmel could, keep his job as well. That's just what I think. This is some very bad stuff. But I do want to share this with you guys because there is something else that we do need to talk about. And it's about Charlie Kirk. And because there's more information that just came out about what happened to Charlie Kirk on the way to the hospital after he was hit. And I wanted to share this with you guys because I think, this is just crazy. Actually, you know what? Actually, before I go into that, I do want to pull up this. I'm only showing this to you guys because this is Sinclair Broadcasting Group. Okay? Sinclair that runs basically everything. And I don't know if you've ever seen this video. I'm not showing the whole thing, but I'm just going to share a little bit of it. But Sinclair Broadcasting Group owns like a lot of things. All right. It's a big ass umbrella over a multitude of channels. Okay. And have you seen this? Have you seen this? I'm just curious if you've seen this. Let's take a look at this.
San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities, Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But
we are concerned about trouble and irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
False news has become all too common on social media.
I'm going to stop it right there. These are multitude of channels from all over the country reading the same script, except, some words are changed out because of where they live. You know what I mean? Sinclair Broadcasting Group. It's just interesting, guys. You got to remember, this is the same Sinclair broadcasting media group that went and said Jimmy Kimmel's gone and he's not coming back unless he does these two things. Well, it's three things because he has to pay the family and then pay the TPUSA and then do, of course, a public apology for making the joke that he made, right? They run a lot of things. A whole lot of things. That's real. If they can control late night, what else do you think they're going to control? You know, my concern is that they're going to whitewash, and I don't mean that in any type of race way. I'm just saying that they're going to whitewash media, entertainment as we know it. That there will be no more authenticity, no more genuine artistry, no more genuine storytelling. If it starts with Stephen Colbert and has gone over to Jimmy Kimmel, like I said, what else could happen here? Okay? What else could be happening here? And again, I will say this. I really don't think that this is a situation that Charlie Kirk would stand for. He would not be standing for the censorship of free speech. Would he? I highly doubt it. Because if he was still alive, God rest his soul, but if he still was alive, I truly, truly think that he would sit there and say, hey, this is not good. This is not right. We should be able to speak what we want to speak because he wants to be allowed to say what he wants to say and speak how he wants to speak. But now we're getting the opposite. So again, very interesting stuff. Now, there is something I do want to share with y'all. This is kind of tough to hear, but this is a video, a clip from apparently, this is a guy by the name of Frank Turek. So he was in the SUV when Charlie Kirk was being rushed to the hospital. And he's telling the story of when Charlie Kirk basically kind of passed on in the car. And I thought it was heartbreaking, but I also think it was very interesting to hear. So I wanted to let him tell his story, tell his perspective about this. So let's take a listen.
Now, here's what Erica wants me to relate on Sunday. This is going to be the hard part, but maybe also the comforting part. Charlie Kirk was literally like a son to me. I have 3 sons. He was like my 4th son. My 3 sons are a little bit older than Charlie. He was like my 4th son. So when he was hit, if your son got hit, what would you do? What would you do? I got in the car. Because if there was any way I could save him, I had to do something. I couldn't just take him. You guys got it. So they got him into the side of the car. It was an SUV. It was the SUV we took over. And I'm on one side, and there's actually some video of this. Somebody's taking video of this. I'm on one side of the car. the right side, and they're getting Charlie in. So I run over to the other side, but the guy who was dragging him in is now blocking that entrance. So at that point, I run around to the back. I pop the back gate open, and I jump in the back. The car lurches forward. Apparently somebody jumped in the car. So the car lurches forward. So I almost fall out of the car, the SUV. Then I grab the thing and close it. And there's 5 of us in the car now. Justin is driving. Dan is up front with the GPS. Rick has got him. Rick's on my left, and Brian is there. And I'm coming over the back seat, and Charlie's laid out in front, just right in front of me. And Charlie's so tall, we can't close the door. We drove 4 miles, I don't know, it's 4 something miles, all the way to the hospital with the door open. To this day, I don't know how Brian stayed in the car, because we're just go. We're trying to stop the bleeding. You saw it.
I mean, imagine being in the car, when it's just like absolute pandemonium. You're losing your mind. You're trying to figure out how to stop the bleeding, stop the situation that's going on. I mean, yeah, you got a point about the bending of his knees, but you're not thinking. I don't think you're thinking about those things when you're freaking out like that. You know what I mean? When you're just trying to get that person to be alive, right? But imagine that, because even how he's describing it, it does feel like he's right there, right? He's right there in the car, right? It's yeah, but there's something interesting. Bluebird, yeah, he was gone within seconds for sure. But there's something interesting near the end of this that they say. Apparently, they were able to get a pulse again when they got to the hospital, but then of course he passed. But yeah, it's just. I mean, I really think that he was gone right when he hit the ground, or right when he got hit. Let's just be real. Right when he got hit, it was a wrap. I mean, if you saw the video, I saw it live. I didn't show it to you guys, but I saw it live, and even seeing it live, I was like, oh my God, yeah, there's no way he came out of that alive at that time. Okay. It's crazy.
And I'm yelling, come on, Charlie, come on. Meanwhile, my phone is still on. My son and daughter-in-law are hearing this whole thing. And his security team, again, Justin, Dan, Brian, and Rick, they love Charlie. But they're much cooler than I mean, they're just carrying out, they're calmly, but they're swiftly doing exactly what they were trained to do. Rick starts praying out loud. I'm praying out loud. We're yelling, come on, let's go. My son's hearing all this. And we're doing the best we can to navigate traffic. This is not a highway. We're on surface streets. And suddenly there's an ambulance coming toward us. And there was conversation in the car. Should we stop? We're like, no, just keep going. The doctor later said that was the right thing to do. Ambulance goes by us. We're still heading to the hospital, trying to get there. At one point, somebody says, let's get there in one piece, because we're cutting through intersections, we're just beeping the horn. This is not a emergency vehicle. There's no lights. There's none of this. And I go, we got to start CPR. So I try and start that. Now, Charlie wasn't there. His eyes were fixed. He wasn't looking at me. He was looking past me right into eternity. He was with Jesus already. He was killed instantly and felt absolutely no pain. That's what I was told later. But of course, we had to try. And by the way, there was just nothing any of us could do about it. We were giving him CPR, but nothing was happening. It wasn't like if we had better first aid, or we had better medical facilities, or we were faster to the hospital, we could have saved him. We couldn't. So if that's any comfort at all, Charlie didn't suffer. He was gone. He was with Jesus, absent from the body, present with the Lord. That's where he was. Now, it is true, when we got to the hospital and they started working on him right away, they did get a pulse back. And so Rick and I were just, everyone's praying. We're just praying for a miracle. We had a small sliver of hope. And the doctor later said that we got a pulse because Charlie was a very healthy man, but the shot was catastrophic. So 20 or 30 minutes later, the surgeon came out and said he was dead.
Yeah, guys. I mean, listen, it's pretty crazy to hear an account from inside the car, right? After he got hit, there was obviously pandemonium. There was absolute chaos. And there was a rush to try to get him revived. But you guys, for those of y'all who saw the video, you can't miss it. I wouldn't recommend seeing it if you're easily, affected by that kind of stuff. But nonetheless, when he got hit, he was done. He was gone after he got hit. That's without question. But here's the thing. He was around people that loved him. What happened to him, of course, is absolutely tragic and heartbreaking. But he was around people that who really loved him and wanted to save him. Unfortunately, they weren't able to. But of course, this is when I get concerned for other people. Because what happened to Charlie Kirk shouldn't be happening to other people. Whether it's them getting terminated from their jobs or for being terminated at an event, these things shouldn't be happening solely because you're speaking your opinion. Now, I know not everybody's going to agree with me about the Jimmy Kimmel situation. That's fine. That's your opinion. That's your right to have that opinion, just like I have mine, right? But you'd hope that we can come back to the table, have the conversations, and leave respect on the table, regardless if you agree with me or if I agree with you or not, that we can still have those conversations and keep moving. This is the problem that we have with our world right now. As soon as we disagree with somebody over the smallest, if not the biggest things, we are quick to not listen to each other. We are quick to terminate each other simply by turning things off, cutting things away. Unfortunately, some people are as extreme as grabbing a weapon and pulling the trigger. It's a damn shame. And here's the thing. I'm affected by it too, because I know somebody just asked in the chat, did I lose my TikTok channel? Yes, I did. I did. I didn't say anything bad. All I did was state the facts surrounding Charlie Kirk's demise. That's all I did. In fact, you could see those videos. They're all over the place. They're shorts. They're reels. I didn't say anything. I didn't spread any false information, didn't put anything out there that was wrong. I was going off of articles that I read on the internet. Highly respected news articles, right? And once again, solely because I was just saying his name. These bots fly in and they lose their minds. And then, of course, they're like, oh, he's talking about Charlie Kirk, so it must be bad things. And then they deleted my channel. It's fine. It's totally fine. It's not going to change anything. It doesn't change how I live my life. But at the same time, it wasn't right. I didn't say anything mean. Not at all. Not once. You can see like I said, you can see the videos for yourself here on this platform. Not saying anything bad. Nothing but facts. Now, And one thing is for sure, you would never hear me say anything like what Jimmy Kimmel said, and you definitely ain't going to see nothing like what we heard from that guy from Fox and Friends on those shorts either. Okay. But at the same time, all I was doing was speaking, and I was speaking facts. So what does that tell you about how things are going on in the world? I'm speaking facts, which is a fact of Charlie Kirk lost his life. Assailant is still on the loose, right? That's one. That's facts. I got flagged for that. Assailant is still on the loose. From my understanding, it's, his name, they now know the identity of the guy, so on and so forth, right? Just facts. Assailant has been taken in. His name is Tyler Robinson. He's the one who pulled the trigger. Blah, blah, blah. Facts. See what I'm saying? That's all I was doing. Stating nothing but facts. So I'm like, you know what? It's cool. It's fine. It is what it is. I've thought about, going and trying to challenge it and everything, but I'm like, what? For something I didn't do? I mean, I did send an appeal, but if they can't see that what I said in there is nothing wrong, then why should I stay on a platform that doesn't want to have my back? You see what I'm saying? So at least for me, I'm like, it is what it is. If I get it back, I get it back. If I don't, I don't. It'll be fine. Doesn't change anything about how I live my life. But it is frustrating because even for myself, I'm talking and giving nothing but facts and information about a case. And all I'm doing is speaking on a microphone. And even I got terminated from someplace. So this is the reason why I go, wait, freedom of speech, y'all. Freedom of speech. Yes, I get that we have guidelines that we can't say certain words a bunch, or we can't say, you got to say unaliving, and, instead of certain words, you got to say, mother lover or CP or SA or R. I know, I get it, all that stuff. I get it. I know there's certain confines you got to do, and that's exactly what I do. But all I'm doing in these TikToks is giving the facts. So it's unfortunate. But at the same time, like I said, I'm even a victim of this lack of free speech. Hence the reason why I'm like, hey, he said he had an opinion. He said what he said. Where's the wrong in that? Where is it? I'm curious. So I guess we'll see what happens. Okay. But like I said, if it's still here, it's still, if it comes back, it comes back. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like I said, it's not my main, it is what it is, But like I said, I'm not telling people that, I'm not saying that homeless should get completely obliterated. You know what I mean? Like I'm not doing that. So we live in some wild times, y'all. We definitely live in some wild times. I think Jimmy Kimmel, if he can get out of his contract, go ahead and do it. Figure something else out to do. Start a podcast. I don't know. You know what? Like, that's the thing, though. I just think that the late night talk show realm is old. Okay? I think that I really do think that the old talk show realm is old, and maybe it's time to shake it up. And maybe this is just a sign for him to go and do something else. Late night talk show is done. It's a dinosaur. People don't really watch it like they used to. They really don't. It's time to shake it up and do something different. So it'd be interesting to see what he does after this, if he can do anything after this. So we'll see what happens. But again, thoughts and prayers to the family, to Charlie Kirk's family. You know, it's terrible. Excuse me. It's absolutely terrible what happened to him. Okay. But guys, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It means a lot. Thank you so much for tuning in. Oh, I forgot this. I forgot to do this. Sorry, I got some super chats here really quick. Michelle Woods, thank you so much. I don't watch these news channels, but didn't CNN bend knee to Trump, or was this MSNBC? I don't know. I know Fox sure did. I mean, Fox has always been bending a knee to Trump for sure. Can't look at any of them and not feel sick, except Jennifer Tarlov. How do she do it? Yeah, I don't know Jennifer Tarlov. I don't think I know that name. Sorry, I don't. But I don't know who bent the knee to, if they did bend a knee. I don't know if CNN or MSNBC did, because they're still reporting on Trump like they always have. It's never changed. It's just never changed. So I don't know. I don't know. That's a new one. Bomb Artist, thank you so much for the love. Look up Zeb Boykins. Okay. He found the bullet midair. Huh. I don't know. I don't know what that is, but I'll look it up. I'll give it some. I'll take a look at it. He found the bullet midair. That's interesting. And Ashley, I appreciate it. Thank you. I mean, like I said, if I do anything, I might start a whole other one all over again. And when I do, I'll let you guys know. I had it was like 32,000 followers on it. You know what I mean? I was just getting started with it, like really trying to use it for the first time these past 6 weeks was when I was really just starting to go in and start putting up content. But like I said, if they give it back to me, that would be great. If they don't, then so be it. You know what I mean? But I'll probably just start it all over again, but I'll let you guys know if I do that. It just sounds like a long start. You know what I mean? It sounds like a long journey that I just don't want to get on. You know what I mean? Is there a way we can reach out to TikTok on your behalf? I mean, you could. I mean, I think it's just sending out a email to them, but they're, that whole platform's so wonky. You know what I mean? It's such a weird platform. So I would just say, if you want to, you can maybe send out a message, something like that. Hey, but I say at the Pascal show, something like that. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Like I said, I think you could do that. But if anything, I start a new one, I'll let you guys know. And hopefully all y'all will go over there, follow, and then we'll start from ground zero all over again. But anyway, guys, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really means a lot. Thank you so much for tuning in. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in and chopping it up with me. Please do me a favor, hit that like button down below. Crush it, do what it do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button here. Check out my other two channels, The Pascal Show Clips and Pascal Raw. That'd be greatly appreciated. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are living in some weird ass times, guys. Make sure you hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. And, of course, check out pascalmerch.com. Check it out. Got some really great stuff over there. Anyway, guys, it's time to get going. Much love to you guys. Stay safe out there. Find a common ground if you can. Show love and peace to each other. We need that more than ever. We need to be reaching across the aisle in unity. We need to find unity, not separation. Unity more than ever right now, okay? Because these streets are wilding out. Anyway, guys, it's time to get going. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.